here right back to where we ended the day yesterday for ARM right now.
Yeah, Brendo, this has been one hell of a stock lately. I was talking to Neil a few days ago about this, really getting through that 150 level without an issue there. That was a previous area of resistance. As Brendo mentioned, going into the NASDAQ 100 on June 24th, coming out to make room for them is going to be SiriusXM, SIRI, is a ticker that was down about 2.5% on the news that they're being removed.
Typically, these types of announcements are sell the event kind of news plays, but you never know here, guys. We are trying to bounce right now for ARM, trying to get back to 160.
Yeah, the only thing, I mean, look, obviously there's some pretty strong arms on the desk, you guys are probably seeing, but the only ones stronger than that are those of this stock. And, you know, I've said it before, and it bears saying again, this is a stock that I was looking to build a position in my long term. I bought into what I considered about 20% of what I wanted to own in the stock. It did absolute and utter nonsense. I was in it at about $66. It did utter nonsense. I sold half the position up at 120, thinking when this happened, I was gonna get back in off a pretty key 80 level. It bounced off 85 and I didn't buy. Like, think about that. Like, okay, so I was trying to buy it back in at like 81 or something, whatever the price was. It bounced at 85, opened the next day at like $90, and then the rest happened. And I never bought it. I didn't buy it there. I didn't buy it when the 50 period claimed. I didn't buy it back at 120 where I'd sold. And if your time horizon is long enough, it's important to note that, you know, sometimes it's more about not getting the exact price you want, but, you know, buying the available dip. I say that a lot. Buy the available dip. If you think stock is trending and it dips into an area that you like, then you should be buying it. Like, that's the entire idea of dip buying. It's not to get the exact price. It's not to get exactly a 17.84 whatever retracement. No, it's to get back into the long so that you can benefit from the move. All that said, at $164, it makes a fresh all-time high. I'm a little bit concerned by what I saw yesterday. My number one stock yesterday was actually shorting ARM, believe it or not, because it was a reverse. When it did the reverse failed break of the high, I just played the retracement short underneath the pre-market low. So I'm more than willing to do that again. If it failed breaks $160 at the open, like this happened, and then holds underneath VWAP, then I will look for a short just like yesterday. Until that actually happens, I still think there's a long available here for this name. I do tend to like NVIDIA 130 a little bit better. So I think everybody and their mother is interested in if NVIDIA breaks $130 in the open market. It's been through this multiple times in the pre-market. It's not a level that hasn't been violated early in the pre-market. Just a few minutes ago, it was through it back and forth probably 7 or 8 times, and it's underneath that level right now. But if we break it at the open, then I want to look for a long, but I'm not getting trapped at the top. You saw on Tesla how we're able to save ourselves by getting the heck out of Dodge if you fail a break at an all-time high. Sometimes it gets really nasty on the way back in, and some people like holding into it. That's not my game plan. I'm just going to play the break and try to keep it simple on NVIDIA.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I have this one on watch as well. I actually didn't really realize that we tested these all-time highs at that 164 just yesterday, so it's good that it's been brought to my attention. But again, I was here for the IPO, marked a bunch of levels there, and definitely has broken past a lot of those levels. Held this earnings reaction low right here on that aggressive dip that we did have, and yeah, it's been quite an uptrend there, armed for fresh highs on this ticker here through that 164, higher highs and higher lows. You can see that post earnings, it did hold that earnings anchored as well in and around that 110, and now we are accelerating past some of these prior levels as well. So if we do take a little bit of a pullback, I'm going to see if we hold this trend here that we've been having on ARM, and then maybe we can take it for that push. Very, very strong. You can see the volume on the daily as well, looking quite sustained as we continue up. But yeah, let's see if we get some expanding volume into this all-time high break. We attempted it yesterday, didn't really get too far, but maybe today's the day.
A few people mentioning this KAVL, little one moving around here, just broke through $4. On a bit of a retracement right now. There's nothing significant. It's 837,000 shares, so teeny tiny float on that. There's a 10%, we'll call it 9.4% short float as well. So just be careful with that KAVL. Huge down day yesterday as well for KAVL. We talked about TEM real quick. If you're with us 8:30 to 9 this morning, IPO coming up on the NASDAQ today. TEM will make its debut. It's not big, 11.1 million shares, but it is AI related. There's a little bit of interest possibly on that side of the equation. It's in the medical space. Not sure how much that matters, but we'll keep an eye on TEM.
Well, SoftBank's done really well this year, obviously with ARM. So if they continue their streak, this company is going to be good as well. So Tempus AI, healthcare technology company. The IPO is priced at $37 per share. It's at the higher end of the range, raising about $410 million. Specifically within the medical field, its platform helps doctors leverage real-time data for better decision-making. It also supports genomics testing, which is important. So keep your eye on that one. Probably launches during the midday. These ones usually launch sometime in the afternoon.
Just saying officially already, Elon Musk has shifted Tesla's incorporation to Texas after the vote last night.
Well, that didn't take very long, so there you go. We'll have eyeballs on that IPO, but I do feel like when it opens up, it will be all of the fun for IPOs tends to happen on the midday show for Adara and Sharif. However, along the lines of Tesla and automation and automated driving, Ramin came up with something a little bit fun that I wanted to show everybody because I thought it was cool. Do we have the clip?
Do you do this on the side or like full time?
That's the dream. We don't want a robot sitting in there. You don't want anybody driving your car. You want the automated driving. And you want Tesla to be doing it at the end of the day. Do you do it full time? Yeah, look, here's a bit of truth. And I know I should always say this because it is fair. The actual working robo-taxis are other companies currently doing it, right? Like, it's like Waymo and a couple of others that actually have these functioning in China. You've got Baidu and a couple of others that actually have them functioning. But, Tesla's got the fleet. Long term, I think it's going to be great for them. Today, it's up 2 points. I like a 180 dip buy. I'm sitting on the bid there. If it does tag a 182, that's a different story. Like, I'd like to see it get underneath. It violated that like right at the end of the day, pretty nasty. The way it broke that 182 all the way into 181.24. So I think if it gets into 182, I'm looking for a long. I'm not just sitting there in front of it, but 180 is a definite different story. Like, I want to be on that bid. I am on that bid. If it takes out a 187 and holds the bid above the pre-market highs and the aftermarket highs, I would look to join a move, not take a breakout on a move. What else we got going on here? I know we didn't talk about Apple, so I want to quickly get to Apple for you guys. Apple into a market that's only down 0.2%. Apple's down 0.6%. This was a huge rally off of 212 in the afternoon. It was very, very steady move off the 212 level all the way into 215. I think that puts this squarely in the range of, hey, 215 is not nothing. 215 was support on that second monster day. It failed at the open all the way up at 217, but really it didn't have any challenge until it got back into the 215 level. So if this can't bust 215, I think you have a chance to be looking at a sell in Apple at the $215 level. I would have said the same thing about Amazon, but Amazon is too far gone at this moment. If you get a short to pop on this, it's almost like it has to be $184.5, $185 on Amazon. Amazon got crushed yesterday. One of the worst names that actually it was the worst name in the Mag 7, just in terms of that move. There were other names that had bad days. And then I don't want to sleep on Longeveron. And we've talked about a lot of these small cap names. Yesterday, this was a fantastic trade. Depending on where you had it, if you had it at the open at $2, which I admittedly didn't, I was looking at big cap tech names and missed the $2 level, but we were able to pick it up as usual in a trend off of VWAP, and then late in the day off of VWAP again, $3 into 335 specifically. So I think that makes it pretty simple. It holds a $3 level. I'm gonna like it. If it does a dip and a rip, I want to join the trend off VWAP. It's got a bit of a double top as well through 390. So if this takes out $4, there is room to run. I just want to show you guys the daily chart before I give it to Obi for some final thoughts. Above $4, it gets really hairy and murky and all that stuff. I'm not really thinking breakout through 4, I'd much rather try to get myself into a long into the $4 level. That way I'm not having to buy the top exactly where it has failed 3 times since its reverse split.
Yeah, I like that look on Amazon for sure there, Neil. And yes, first real strong red day in a while there. If we take a look at the daily real quickly, you can see that we've been bidding up. We kind of triple topped ish this 190, 188 level, but you can see over the past since I guess what is this date right here, May, June 3rd. We've been pretty much trending up, and it's the first day yesterday that we did break that prior bar low on the daily, and we got that aggressive selling off of the open there. I think prior bar low in and around that 85. What was that? Yeah, prior day low right here, 85.40s right here. We push off of it. We come back right through the back through open, back through low, opening range low. That is selling really does come in pretty aggressive there.
Yeah, let's go to the desk quickly with Sharif before the bell.
All right, guys, we're talking about the more obscure patterns or ones we haven't talked about in the past. Today, Adair and I are going to be talking about the rounded bottom pattern on how to trade catch that at 11.
Rounded bottoms, definitely good. You're good. Okay, you know what?
I like that.
We all like that, I suppose. But look, NVIDIA is at the $130 mark. It is Friday. It's going to be a good one, a wild one. Let's get this party started as we lower the bell to end the week. Elon getting paid, GameStop moving higher because you know who's got shares. Let's ring it in. Go.
When I started my poker journey, I learned the hard way that was losing money. But now there's an easy way to get started and just play for fun with
through VWAP in here already through that 350. So let's see if it can do a dip that'll get me some kind of support to get in. But as I said, I'm not getting trapped in an early fail on NVIDIA. I like dip buys, but they're all the way down here, $2 from where we are. So it's either long right up at that 130 or in that first 50 cents, or it's long down at 128. ARM is the other name. And look, ARM's already gone.
Okay, all right.
The all-time high in ARM is $164. It's always the one you're not looking. It's always ARM. ARM is insane. 164 is an all-time high on ARM. I'm not buying a punch through 164. The spread right now is 50 cents. Yeah, that's way too big. I think if it could race 164, you could pull back $1.50, and that would be pretty reasonable. So be careful with that one.
Yeah, I'm watching this Adobe here. We did kind of push up above the morning consolidation highs there, just above that 530, but it's still chopping within this kind of 925 imbalance range there. 529s right now, 530s just chopping around. The spread is about a point, so it's ranging from a point to about 30 pennies every now and then. So I'll continue watching this one as it kind of consolidates or does its thing here. NVIDIA pulling back off of that 130, so we know that 130 couldn't really get through as of yesterday. We did get through it in the pre-market with the 4 a.m. price, and then we've been slowly kind of steadily trending down back into that 130. So let's see what we do with that 130 here. But yeah, Adobe's trading below that 530 as of right now. So like I said, if the same question I kind of always ask if a ticker is kind of gapping up on earnings. If it pulls back, if the bid is real, where is it going to catch? Are we going to see any sort of significant tape action there? Are we going to see a held bid? Are we going to see any sort of size show up? If we do trade a little bit lower into the pre-market levels there. Let me pull in this chart here so I can kind of look at it as well. And yeah, NVIDIA breaking back through that 129. So nice little short. Sellers at 130 apparently are still there as of right now from yesterday. But again, some of these pre-market lows I think are definitely worth watching here. But going back to Adobe, bouncing off of that earnings anchored as of right now. I have my earnings anchored right here at that 525 mark. So we're in and around that level, but we did do a little bit of a wick shimmy there off of the pre-market highs. Couldn't quite get to these highs at 537s, and we are trading over 10 points lower there. 520s coming in, aggressive selling a little bit there. So let's see what we do with this pre-market low, 518, but I haven't really seen anything that convincing or distinctly different on the tape as of right now to really kind of make a move here. But NVIDIA looking nice at that 130. Let us know what you guys are watching off the open as well. As you guys know, I just like to stay a little bit patient off the open, especially when on the show. A little bit of a different playbook. But Intel, I do have my eyes on some of the
quickly here.
There, what's going on?
128.50 just came in twice on. I'm not still in it. I actually just got in and out a couple times here on 128.5 on NVIDIA. It popped. The best we got was in front of the 90s. And it's starting to hold a little bit of a bid. Longeveron, I'm not going to chase. Longeveron's up at 375. It looks like I don't want to say we've completely missed it, but we might have missed that story. So NVIDIA is starting to bounce in here, but LGVN, I did try to get that bid right when we got in and out of that breakout long on NVIDIA. It's holding 350. I'm out in front of it. I tried to get that break on that bounce. We'll have to wait for a pullback. I don't want it to get to $4 and I'm not in position. Let's go to Adara.
Pfizer at days highs here after this push up from the open. One of their treatments showing overall survival of more than 2 years in their phase 2 study. So this being well received here by traders. Pfizer right now up almost 2%. PFE.
Pfizer going up? Okay, that's not too bad. Quickly, Apple is starting to get close to that 215 level. So Apple on another tear. I have a wick up here at the 215. I didn't see it actually trade up at that price. So if we get it, we're gonna try and short it off that 215 level. I was over on NVIDIA and trying to pick up some Longeveron. It's possible that it wicked that top, which might make me just like it a little bit more. I did reload NVIDIA at a higher low, and if we get to 130, I do still want to cover out in front of 130. I think 130 is a level you got to prove that you're breaching that 130 level before we're going to not respect it. So we're trying to grab that short on Apple. We like that one for a fade only at that 215 level, which we think is key. If you're tracking Tesla, it's kind of a nothing burger for Tesla unless you're short it. I'm waiting for either bounce off the 182 or the 180 level here on Tesla. What's going on with Adobe? I see a lot of people talking about Adobe. That's not a name on my list to trade off the open, but I know you're interested.
It's a bit of a hold here, just underneath that 525 level there. I was watching it real quick, and a lot of mid prints that went in. right underneath that 525. We are trading above that. That happens to confluence with the anchored VWAP. We are making a higher low off of this pre-market low here at that 518. But again, it had almost a 2-point spread there, just underneath that 520. I think it was 524 and some change, and then 526 on the ask right there. So I don't necessarily want to punch right into the ask right there. I'll wait for a little bit longer to get involved with that one. But you can see again, I know people like playing the 5-minute opening range, and that 5-minute opening range as of right now, 534 highs, and the lows right there at that 521, 522 area, just shy of that 522 underneath it. But before that, we're gonna go over to Dara.
We do have here APLD. This was small cap here on watch. Not seeing any news on this one and not a ton of volume yet, but this one trying to push higher at highs day here. 14.3% short float, so worth watching. APLD, guys.
Good look for that. LGVN just came back in for me, so we picked it up. You probably have guessed it by now. I feel like I need like a VWAP button or something so I can just hit it and be like, okay, we bought a dip off VWAP. Because it's way too often that we're seeing this. But like at the end of the day, if something works for you and the pattern is there, you're just gonna take it. So we got 351. Creatively enough in front of 350, I bought at $3.51. I'm scalping into the high. I'm gonna hold the last 20% for a break in the $4 level. Bingo, bango, bongo, all that good stuff. Tesla is still tanking. GameStop. Well, we talked about a dip buy in GameStop, and the stock doesn't care. I know it says AMC, but believe me, that's the only diamond hands thing I have on my board, so that's what I'm gonna hit. Hopefully somebody's got this breakout. I was waiting for a $28 level to get in. If you don't get in, it just means the trade didn't set up for you. You've got to be able to sit one out. I'm always willing to miss the trade to make the trade, and this one off to the races, up 3% for GameStop. Good look there. But it is Longeveron that's really starting to go, and I do, like I said, if it gets through the high, I'm gonna have taken almost all of it out because I want to ring the register, not look a gift horse in the mouth, and if it breaks the double top, I'm going to be already in it, and then if it flies, we're already in the trade. And if it doesn't go, then I'm not losing money. I can look for a reload off that 350 level. NVIDIA has not gotten to 130 yet, but I'm going to be on the offer at 129, probably around 85 to 90. And if it breaks 130, that's a separate trade on its own. So far, so good, but we did miss out on that GameStop dip buy opportunity.
Yeah, like GameStop's definitely going here. I do have it kind of watching it on the sidelines here. AMC as well, Neil. AMC pushing, I guess yesterday's high was 538. As of right now, 537 is the high. So we did clip AMC prior day highs right there, again, along with some of these other, along with the GME as well. But something to note is like a lot of the other kind of names, like the meme names that we're running, have lost their push on the whole squeeze and the meme craze that was happening over the past couple of weeks there. I know that Novavax, again, another heavily shorted name, has been pretty much downtrending off of the past week or so. So that disconnect definitely there, but GME, AMC, the main stonks for sure. are catching a bit of a bid, but like I said, I'm going to be patient for that GME 131, 132 to come in right there. That 530 on Adobe was looking quite nice, but we are still chopping within this 6-point range here on Adobe off of the open. So I'm going to wait for a little bit more distinctly different action there. But yeah, NVIDIA as well, that 130, let's see, that 129 is holding quite well as of right now, but underneath VWAP to say the least. So let's see what we do in and around there. About 200 on the ask right there, just above 129. So let me just put in that filter
There is
here
a
on
serious
this screen.
amount of volume going off at this 129.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, in Bizarro world, it's AMD that's trying to go green. Because, why not? I mean, AMD's been the dog, not exactly the belle of the ball in the chip space, and it's trying to push to this 160. Seen this story before. If 129 is starting to fail on NVIDIA, suddenly you're going in the other direction on AMD, and they've been a little bit counter-trend to each other, so let's respect it. But it's ARM that I want it to be a little bit more attuned in, and look what ARM is setting up. This is pretty much what it did yesterday. Break of the pre-market high, a fail underneath. Yeah, if NVIDIA loses 128.5, I think I'm shorting VWAP again on ARM. It's just, I paid for the locate, so we are ready to go. But we've got a Dara at the desk. You've got some news for us.
Go EV here. GOEV Canoe is the name of the company, pushing higher here at highs of day on strong volume. This one is a 13% short float. Also announced they're getting $15 million from a prepaid agreement that came out yesterday after market close. So GOEV, bit of a catalyst here. Decent short float on the move to the upside, guys.
That's a pretty solid. Someone just showed a 100K bid and spooked, not spooked. It was probably a real order on NVIDIA here down at 128.5. I just tried the reload. We've pretty much only been long the 50s and then 80s in here on NVIDIA as it's trying to bust VWAP. I still will get out in front of 130. That's not going to change. Longeveron is starting to slow at that 360. It's pulled back in. It's not giving fills in front of 50. I'm just going to pop off the bid because it's not looking nearly as strong, and I don't like the volume. So I'm not reloading the 350 on Longeveron. I'm trying to get back in at the 128.5 on NVIDIA. And for all of the apes and the GME followers, now the volume's starting to come in above 30 bucks. So it's trying to break that high of yesterday. I'm going to zoom out for you guys. But until it gets through that 31, it's still got some ways to go. I'd rather be buying some dips. I'm trying to be really patient with Tesla. Sometimes you're catching a falling knife and it works out for you. But I said I would not just sit on the bid at the 182. I would let it trade down into 182, look for a bounce opportunity, try to get it on the strength. This looks like it's trying to make a bounce here. 181.80 I have as the local bottom. So I'm going to try to get in here. Okay, it just kind of popped up. Look to try to get it off a bounce instead of sitting in front. The problem with that sometimes is you might get a bad price. Like I'm long at 16 because I'm buying it on the way back up through when it's trying to break back out. But you could have a price of like 1s and 2s if you just sat on that bid. I like trying to catch it after the bounce, and you to each your own. Like I like trying to get it in the other direction. If we get the VWAP, it's a downward trending stock in which I'm playing a VWAP retrace for this name. So GameStop, nothing. Longeveron's back up about 12, 13 cents in the money, but not really moving all that fast. And the one that's in trouble to me is Tesla because that's the one that's trend down when we're buying this 182.
Okay, you got long there on the Tesla. Yeah, I'm watching Tesla as well. I got it up here on my other chart. Yesterday's low. We saw the aggression of the selling that happened off of this attempt at 190 yesterday, and then we hold sideways pretty much the whole day with that 182 kind of level holding as of right now. And yeah, that day low right there, right before the close, 181.23. So I am definitely watching that. We did aggressively sell off right off of the open. Look at these strong red volume candles right there. We're holding that 182 as of right now. So I'm just gonna be waiting to see any sort of change in the chart there. But yeah, that 129, Neil, lots of volume right there. There's 200 lots on the ask, 129.08, but it seems like this thing is churning a lot of volume in and around this 129.
It needs to be more buy volume. Get in there and buy, Mortimer. Yeah. Buy. That's what I'm talking about. You know, it's right back, like you're right back underneath 182. My price is now 12s. I just did a bit of a reload. It bounced off the 50 in the wrong way. That's 182.5. I'm always taking some out. An even dollar bounce play against the trend, I'm taking some out at the half dollar every single time, and then I'm taking some out in front of 75, like that kind of a thing. But you are holding this low by just absolutely barely. There we go. Now you get another pop. I should get some out in front of the 50 a second time. And I just heard in my ear AMC shares popping as GameStop is holding. Why is that still Tesla? I just hit AMC. Yeah, why is AMC so much? Okay, so remember I said if there's a big move down on GameStop, let me just try to set this up for you. Like AMC is really flying. GameStop's not through the high. So usually I'd say if GameStop fails, I'd short AMC. Because AMC is looking relatively strong, I'm not gonna do that. Just wanna let you guys know. I am not looking for that play if AMC is weirdly strong. I like doing it when AMC is not showing that kind of strength relative to GameStop. So it's hard to tell, but I did sell in front of 50s on that reload of Tesla. It's right back into the bottoms here. So a bit of a downward trend in Tesla, bit of a downward trend. A big downward trend in Tesla. We're able to capture a couple of scalp trades on the long, but when you're fighting the trend, make sure you're taking profit when you get that bounce. Do not look a gift horse in the mouth. It is not going up nearly as rapidly as I would like. Nvidia's holding 4, which is okay. We got a number in 15 minutes, and I guess I'm not gonna get the Apple short before that without changing my target. I'm at 214.95, and I just missed it by like a smidge. 91 was the high. I missed that by 4 cents. It's trending up. I think I'll let it carry into 215 before I get out in front of that one.
Yeah, I'm still watching the futures here. Now this is the prior contract again. I don't think we kind of talked about this earlier. Not really going to switch over to the next one until maybe Monday when that one gets a little bit more volume here. But again, still watching some of this action here. We did break through that 19.6 and 19.6 on NQ, pushing right back up. So this consolidation that was happening in the pre-market, we are trending above that, and some of these highs here, 19.660-ish, are potentially on their way there with this strength coming in. And people in the chat talking about Google, and yeah, I'm definitely watching some Google as well here along the way. Google pushing for that 176, so let's pull that in right here. Look at that Tesla pull right back up. Are you still in that Tesla
I
there?
just covered. It just made the push past 183.20, so we did ring the register on that one, but I gotta get over here. Look, we talk about the winners. You guys saw Tesla bouncing off 182, but Longeveron just lost the 350 level. So we did scalp. I actually was able to get out of 2/3 of it in front of the 75 level. This little spike was the missed opportunity. It spiked back up to 75 and I didn't get it out. But once it broke 350, I said I was not gonna reload that position. Didn't like the way that it looked. So we don't get more shares there off of VWAP. It's bounced through 350, now headed into the downside, unfortunately, is what it is. But I'm not gonna hold it from 350 to $3. If I like a $3 level, I can trade it again at $3. You don't have to hold it 10% or 15% against you. You can just wait for that next opportunity. Okay, so AMD's really the better one at this point.
Yeah,
But you're starting to get backed up through VWAP here. I never got that reload on NVIDIA here off that 128.5. I tried jumping in front of the size that was there, but I guess the algos got there first. That's just gonna happen sometimes. But if you bust through VWAP, you're putting in some higher lows. I don't know that I wanna add through 130, but I might look for a trend and some kind of a higher low. We missed the last one, we'll try and get the next. AMD is the one that's really flying.
Wow, yeah, AMD. Thanks for bringing that one to my attention there. I know a lot of people were talking about that in the chat as well. AMD very, very strong off of the open there, kind of pushing into prior days end of day highs right there at that 161 as of right now. So let's go down to a shorter time frame and just check that out. Okay, 161.10, pulling back a little bit here. Let's see how far we go back. Pre-market highs 160.30, so we're just in and around there. But yeah, look at that expanding volume going into that 160 break. That's definitely interesting to me. I'm waiting for this 130 potentially on NVIDIA as well. Adobe, definitely still watching that. This is a 1 minute on here, so we are making a bit of a trend here. Lower highs building into this flat bottom at 524 and change, 525 just underneath, and we're kind of holding that right now. So I'm gonna wait and see what we do with some of this action. Definitely a lot of people involved here. And it's done about 4.7 million shares of volume right now. It's what is it? It's 9:49. So it's been about 20 minutes since the open, and we've done about almost 5 million shares on Adobe. So I'll continue watching this one, waiting for players to get offside, potentially on that one, on that build of I guess flat bottom break potentially. But let's see if it kind of comes
on
into
Adobe.
On Adobe potentially.
You're
But
looking short on Adobe?
We'll see. Pardon?
You're looking short?
Maybe. We'll see. I'm just looking to react to what it'll give it to me. But look at that flat that's at like 524 halves, right? We keep on bidding above that. So this is what I'm talking about on the 1 minute. 524 halves is being held. So that might be a little distinct. And if that level gets a little violated, I do wanna take a piece off towards day lows. But you can see this is quite clean here. If I draw like a bit of a line here, since the open, very, very clean trend to the downside. Lower highs pushing for this flat bottom. But let's see if those bids kind of hold. Maybe a little bit of a wick, maybe a little bit of a fugazi. But I do want to step in when the price action is distinctly different and convincing. Here comes the 130, Neil, on NVIDIA. 600 lots on the ask. So let's see what we do with this price over here on NVIDIA.
Look, I told you what I was gonna do, so I'm out of the dip buy on NVIDIA, and I'm looking for the break again. So, station to station play. We did miss one other dip buying here at like 75, but you take the money and run. We just got a buck on the last one, but I'm on the board. We're gonna have this break when it happens. The first one, tight stop, I'm still gonna do the same thing. If it fails this 130, I'm not gonna hold it forever. I usually have a pretty tight stop, but it's, you said 500,000 shares are sitting on the offer of NVIDIA at 130. Still nothing happening. GameStop's still doing the same dance, but it's this 130 that's gonna come in next. Oh, look at Apple. Once this resolves itself, anyone looking at a chart of Apple, if you wanted to short at 215, your opportunity has come and gone. But that was the level. We're here to try to take trades, but you also have to prioritize. Like, you cannot take every single opportunity, nor get every opportunity. How is it possible I keep getting the even dollar on these breaks? This happened twice yesterday. I actually got filled at $130 on that fill, on that break, which means you say it's a good thing, like it's a good price, but it's not necessarily a good thing, because I'm getting triggered essentially before it's truly broken through that level. I'm not hitting that key manually, but the 30 break, the first time it failed and the dip buy was better. If the same thing happens a second time, then I'm gonna lose on the break again, and I'm gonna buy the dip again at 128.5. That has been the plan this entire time. As Tesla's still holding that 183.50, might not get a second chance at 182 there.
Yeah, so the 130 back through was quite nice there. Does pull back a little bit, but the 130 is coming in. Let's see if we can break through some of these pre-market. So pre-market consolidation right before the open, in and around that 130.47, and we are pushing for that 131 as of right now, Neil. Yeah, so let's see if we can get to the next 75. I like to play with quarters, so can we get to the next 75, or do we hold the half even at that 130 halves? I will stay a little bit patient with this one. I'm still watching Adobe as well. Adobe's still holding above that 525 level as of right now. Price compressing into some of these lows here, but that 131, oh boy, look at that. There's that bid that came in right in. I don't know how much it was, but definitely got filled on the bid. Let's see if we can get that 131. A lot of volume going through at that 129, Neil. So definitely some interesting stuff. A lot of volume goes in, and then we break towards some of those highs. So maybe some accumulation, who knows? But before that, we're gonna pass it over to Dara.
Keep an eye on Boeing here. This report came out apparently right after the open, but it's circulating a little bit around X right now. Basically, the FAA looking into whether or not counterfeit titanium was used in Boeing and also Airbus jets. But keep an eye on BA here with regards to that report of potential counterfeit titanium in Boeing jets, guys.
What are you doing, Boeing? Come on. Yeah.
I can't even.
No words. Zero words.
I'm at the point right now, I don't even want to hear anything about Boeing anymore. I am so sick and tired of. I've been saying all you gotta do is just go 1 or 2 weeks without a bad news story. You can't even do that. Counterfeit titanium? What in the actual hell is going on here?
What even is that?
I don't even look. First of all, I don't even know what that means, because as far as I'm concerned, it could still be just as safe as a regular titanium. Like, what does that even mean? It's tight. Like, it's still the right stuff, right? Does it still keep you safe when you're using it? Maybe they save a few dollars in there. How do you, okay, whatever, man.
Maybe
I get a little
lightweight
I've been getting triggered by Boeing stuff because if you look at a chart of Boeing on the daily, there was a moment where I said live on the show I was gonna sell my Boeing shares and buy GE. I didn't do it, and if I pulled up the chart, you'd understand why I'm pissed off with that company. Anyways, let's talk about some good things and not Boeing for a minute. We got to 131 on NVIDIA, so that's good. When Obi was going nuts, I thought he was excited about NVIDIA. He was talking, but Obi, you were mentioning also about Adobe.
Yeah.
Obi and Adobe is going to be a problem for me all day long. So I just want to get that out of the way. I'm going to have trouble with this all day. But we just got to 131. We bought the dip at 128 into 130. Now we bought the break at 130 into 131. Obviously, I lost on the initial break, but I think sometimes you got to be willing to take a break more than once. The other thing that's happening is ARM. Remember ARM? Remember the all-time high in ARM? ARM is, it's a good stock. Yeah. So, I mean...
Is ARM strong-arming you there, Neil?
I was trying to come up with a pun, but the best I could come up with is it's a very strong stock. The stock is going up. Buying dips has been profitable for you. So we've got the Tesla dip buy that was successful. Longeveron was okay, but we didn't get the full follow through. AMD is flying without us, but thankfully we've got NVIDIA. I just want to make sure we're covering what happened on AMD, because NVIDIA has been okay, but I think AMD caught people off guard with that $3 move off the bottom. So we're about $1 in the money on NVIDIA. AMD's on watch for me here. The Apple short that I mentioned. Okay, so, you gotta prioritize. Like, we made money on NVIDIA, we made money on Tesla, we made money on Longeveron. That said, it was part of my action plan to short 215 on Apple, but you can't take every single trade at 930. You've got to get the ones that you like and the ones that come in first. And in this particular case, we prioritized where we thought it made sense to. Oh, thank you very much for the super chat there. Big Kyle Burdett. I don't usually say Big Kyle Burdett, but why not? S.T.U.P.I.D. Thank you for the super chat, Kyle Burdett. It's not gonna work. Everyone that watches the show knows that there's two stocks that I like to crap on. One of them is Boeing, the other one is S.T.U.P.I.D. I own both of them in my long-term account. Well, sorry, no, I think we're gonna get that short. Stuck to the right names today.
Yeah, this again, a lot of volume now going on in and around this 131 there, Neil. So I'm kind of patiently watching a lot of blocks going through. So I like to have a filter on my tape for some block sizes that may or may not come in, because again, the rainbow can be quite quick and aggressive and difficult to read, so filters definitely help. There goes some random size at that 131.20, so I like that. Go ahead and bring that back up to those highs at that 131.30s as of right now on NVIDIA. So again, can you print the quarter? Can you push the half? Can you print the quarter? Can you push the half? So right now, it is about to print the quarter. Let's see if we can push 130.
If you could imagine your ideal way of working, what would it look like? Monday.com can make...
Well, if you pull up a higher time frame on NVIDIA, the 30-minute chart has quite an aggressive bottom wick that wicked pre-market lows. So if you like to trade lick grabs, that was definitely a lick of the pre-market lows on NVIDIA and hold of prior day's highs as well, right? We saw the consolidation that it had sideways. Now again, this ticker has been in a strong uptrend. There's 500 lots at the half there, Neil. So we did hold the quarter. Can we print the half? And we are only about 10 pennies away from 131. halves as of right now on NVIDIA. So very, very strong. Let's take a quick look at the tech sector as well. I know that SMCI kind of runs in tandem.
I'm offering
as
for the
well.
132. I'm taking every $2 on NVIDIA
Nice.
As a level. But I got to tell you, there's a line that I say often that is, if you make a keystroke, if you get into position that you don't want, in this case, it actually wasn't even a keystroke, just get it right out of it. So I was actually short Tesla for a brief second. Tell you what happened. So I got the long instantly. I immediately threw the offer out in front of 180.5 when I got the long in front of 180. By the time I was able to process that I had to fill and was throwing the offer, I had already been, it already had stopped back in through 180. So I had been stopped out before I could even hit enter on my offer, threw the offer out, and it ends up being a short sell. So it then popped off 180, filled me short. I'm like, I don't want to be short. Bid, made money on the short, but I didn't want to be short. If I hold it, it actually goes $1 for me. But my intention wasn't to be short in that situation. I want to make sure. You would have seen it flash in there short for a second. Tesla is absolutely flushing. I'll end up, actually, oddly enough, he ended up making money there because it was a good short, but I did not hold on to it, not looking to hold on to it. As I said with NVIDIA, I'm looking for this 132 next. This is not the NVIDIA of old, right? It's done a split. You know, it's not going to make $50 moves or $40 moves. This is the equivalent of it going from 1,300 to 1,320.
Yeah, there was a
Like,
stack.
let's be real for a second. So if when we're trading it at those prices, like I don't have a trail in just yet because I want to see what happens at this 13.5. I don't need to have a 130 bid. I was trying to bid 130 when the economic number came out, just in case it flushed down. I didn't get it, but I'm out in front of this 132. We're going to take the profit and run, and then see what the next stop is going to be. If I'm able to find a short in something with this market pulling back, I'm waiting for Amazon to get maybe $1 higher. Apple as well. Maybe it'll be VWAP in here in Apple because I don't think we're getting 215 again. JD, why not short Tesla through 180 though? I tend to want to play something in one direction. I flipped before. Sometimes I do flip, but generally speaking, on like a big level, I just want to play it in one direction so I'm not just flipping back and forth. If we trend underneath 180 and Tesla has a 5% down day, if I'm not good enough to get myself into a short at some point in that kind of a downward trend, you know, I believe that I'm able to catch a trend. So I don't want to force it early because I believe if it's going to be good, it'll show me a trend that I can jump into. That's what happened with ARM yesterday. I was looking for longs on ARM, and then it turned into a short later. So I wasn't short up here, I wasn't short there, I was short here and here. That's the way that I would prefer to trade it. So like ARM right now, you know, I like to think I can find my way into a long trend if it gets to $170. That might not be the truth, but we found our way into NVIDIA several times here today, and it's just my style of trading. Like I take it from station to station, look to jump out of the trend, jump back into the trend. Some people like to buy and hold, whatever works for you.
Yeah, so there was a stack, Neil, at that 131 halves on multiple gates, a few hundred lots there, and it all on the test instantly gets filled, pulls back down aggressively like 30, 40 pennies, and then insta rebid to the 31 halves. So again, that's again, we're talking about confluence factors now. I'm getting, there's a stack in the 70s. Oh boy, so we did print the quarter, we printed the half. Now we're printing the 3 quarters at the 75. So let's see if we can get to 132. Pre-market highs in and around that 131.80s, as we pointed out before. So pre-market high break potentially coming in as of right now here on NVIDIA, but that stack getting taken out aggressively after we've churned through so much volume at 129s, 131s, and not really 130s, but there was some size at that 130, right? That's kind of what got us involved into the trade. But again, going forward, I think I need to be observing a lot of that action. When the block boys come in and they're holding up the stonk, there is potential for continuation, right? And we know what NVIDIA has been doing over the past few days, and it's been quite aggressive, quite strong to the upside. We had a bit of a consolidation sideways day, but again, more often than not, Neil, consolidations tend to be continuation patterns, right?
They can.
It's a little bit of a multi-day trend happening here. A bit of a bid stack there, gets taken out, but nothing too aggressive. Here comes 132. How much size is sitting on that 132, Neil?
I haven't seen it yet, but you know what I said I was going to do, so I'm going to stick right to it. When I saw them stack it up there in that 70 and the 80 level, like about the third time that I saw that, I'm like, okay, we're not going to wait for 90s. I'm just going to get it out right there at the 80s. That extra 10 cents, because if it pulls back and bounces off off 131, then I haven't followed my plan. So if we do make a break of 132, this is not a breakout price that I would take at this time. I'm looking for a dip down in. There was one chance to dip off 31, and it was at 30 and a half. I didn't get that dip, but we're going to try and find the next one available. We've only been long on NVIDIA, and I want to keep it that way, but I'm just trying to get paid on this move. Oh, GameStop is starting to pull back. For real. So lower highs in GameStop. Look at that. Lower high. Sorry. There's a top. There's lower high underneath VWAP. Let me just quickly double check. Same pattern on AMC. Don't necessarily see a trade there on AMC. If I could have had this at 540, I'd be in the short on AMC. So I'm out of NVIDIA, looking for a place to get back in on the next available dip. Tesla. Wow. Tesla just continues to go to the downside. This is exactly what happened on Tesla, where like the best I could do is make what we can on the long. Obviously, if I held that accidental short, we'd be doing pretty well, but I can't complain. At this point, we've gone 3 for 3, and we're just looking for another idea here. It's only 10:12. We got plenty of time to go. I have not looked at that Adobe trade just yet, but I do want to check in on some names that some people have been mentioning, because I said the other day PayPal's been one of the easiest shorts. So shout out to Team PJCT for reminding everybody here that the lowest hanging fruit short since the Apple event has been PayPal. And guess what PayPal did again today? Popped at the open, failed the previous close price or failed the previous resistance the day before, and then flushed. If you just short any key level that shows up at the open on PayPal, you've been winning every single time.
Yes, sir. So we did pull back down to this 131, so I am kind of observing here to see what we do. Pulled back about 50 pennies off of those highs, so this is the first aggressive kind of pullback here on NVIDIA. So I'll stay observant to see if we kind of if bidders kind of come right back in. But the behavior is a little bit different, maybe not distinctly different, but we did trade all the way up to pre-market highs, and then now we are pushing right back in. So let's see how far we kind of dip down here. Watching a few trend indicators as well as the market pulls back through that 19.6, right? So this is quite aggressive of a sell on the futures. So I do want to stay observant and be a little bit patient here, potentially to see if bidders kind of step right back in, right? So I do want to stay involved with this ticker if it's going to continue to bid up. Now again, the first aggressive pullback, not necessarily the end of the trend, but we shall see. We shall wait and see. That pre-market high, again, maybe some liquidity sitting there for sure at that 131.80s, and we did see that stack at that 131.70s that got printed instantly on the offer, and then we did hold the bid and pull back a little bit there. So 131.30s right now. I'm going to ask the same question: can we hold the quarter and print the half? And if we do that, can we print the 75 into the next dollar there at that 132? We are holding trend as of right now. Yeah, sure, the prior bar did kind of break there. Going to be taking out some players for sure, but let's see if we kind of continue some of this trend here. Very, very strong on the day. Again, some of those other confluence factors I think are quite stronger and outweigh that prior bar break as of right now, but let's see what the price action holds. I'm not going to make too many assumptions there, only observing that a lot of volume has been going on and every dip has been bought up, and even some of the more aggressive dips are getting bought up. And now with the NQ, attempting to push back through that 19.6. Let's see if that bid kind of steps right back in to NVIDIA here. Again, one of the market leaders for sure. We know that AI has been a big one for this year, and we have an IPO today, right, Neil? So an AI IPO, not that big. I think the IPO price is like $37 with only about I think 11 million shares or something like that.
It's not big, but it's
nothing
in the right
too
space.
Crazy. Adobe. Oh boy, is
GameStop's
this one?
at 20. Wow, GameStop.
GameStop's at 20. That's an
$28,
important level.
28.
Oh, 28. Okay.
So GameStop has pulled all the way into that $28 level. The pre-market low, yesterday's support in the afternoon, yesterday's resistance in the morning. To say that level has some significance would be a bit of an understatement. So, oh, come on, give me something. I might have to go out in front of the quarters here to get. I'll steal a line from Sharif to wet the beak in front of 28 and a quarter. We'll try to get 28s as well. If it fails 28, I'm not expecting a downhaul, but I'm also not going to hold much through. My style of trade is I'm not going to hold 28 to 27 or to 26. 26 is its own level. Sorry, 25 is its own level. If it gets there, then I'm going to be out of this trade for sure to take the L. All right, ARM is also starting to pull back in. While I'm on GameStop, ARM is pulling right back into 164. 164 was the previous all-time high on ARM. Let me just quickly show you that chart because I'm not getting off GME because that's the position that we're in. But there's a 164 bounce on a dip in ARM. I was a little further back on NVIDIA, so didn't get that last dip. But ARM 164 does look pretty spicy as well. That cannot stop running, it seems.
Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, there goes the futures with another leg up here. Let's see how far we can get back. This wipe was quite aggressive, right? Now we're kind of accelerating back through that 19.6. Still holding underneath the half here on 131 halves on NVIDIA, but there was some size that quickly popped in. Not significant, but some stacks on the bid right there at that 131 half. And so we are printing some volume at that 131.70s and the 131 halves as well as of right now. But again, a lot of the block boys that held up that 129, 130, 131 seem to be continuing to hold up here. A lot of volume going through on that filter. So I'll be a little bit more patient and see what this market kind of brings there. Adobe still kind of sideways there, consolidating in a 2-point range there, Neil. So that's very, very interesting. I'm going to quickly take a look at some of these constituents. What's Google doing? Google's still holding the upper quartile of the move right there. 176 trading.
You just say upper quartile?
Yes. Yeah, it's holding the upper quartile of the price action. Here comes 131.70s again. So this was the last time we saw some significant volume go through on NVIDIA. So I do want to see if this is poised for a 132 push. So let's see if that'll come in again with a little bit of market tailwind as well, pushing off of that 19.6. I think we might be poised with a little bit more probability for that 132. I'm seeing right away flashing of almost 2,000 lots there at that 132. So a little bit less than what we saw at lower levels, but which kind of suggests that we may or may not be able to take that out. But again, it is NVIDIA. It's done about 80 million volume so far with almost an hour traded, 10 more minutes for an hour to be traded on the market. 131.75 is nothing too convincing, nothing really distinct other than dips are getting bought. Dips continue to get bought. The market is strong. AI is strong. NVIDIA blasting off right now. I have no other trades on watch, but I'm gonna pack my patience with this one.
Oh no!
132 potentially coming in. Maybe we get some more here as well, but I will stay patient and try to play the chart and price action.
Before we go to the small cap recap, not holding the upper quartile just now was GameStop. Bouncing off 28, it didn't actually get filled right in that 28 level. I said I would get in front of the quarters. We took some out halves. When it failed the upper quartile there into 29 even, we just took the profit. So we got our bounce play. Again, my style, get in, get out, take the money. You're going counter trend. Take what you get and don't try to be greedy about it. The stock is trending into the downside. So we got it at the level we wanted. Didn't necessarily get the entire fill down there underneath 28 because it didn't quite get there. But we'll take that one, look for the next opportunity. Maybe it'll be ARM. Maybe we just have to buy a little bit higher than we want again in NVIDIA. But for now, let's head on over to the green screen because Adara has the small cap recap. 32.
Second straight day of weakness for the IWM despite a strong Wednesday. Sold off throughout the day yesterday. Now down almost 2%, 1.7% below that 200 level. So definitely not a great day for the Russell 2000 right now. In terms of individual stocks moving, we have a couple names that have run before. Mario Biopharma, not a bad look on the daily chart either here. Put this one up about 5% on the day, disclosing its pricing of its $50 million unwritten registered direct offering for its ADS. We also have here ONMD. This is another one that's run in the past. One net. This one a bit rangier here, up about 15%, partnering with the clinical trial design and software company for their data license agreement. So great look for ONMD. Last but not least, of course, we do have KAVL. This one trying to continue to make higher highs and higher lows here. Currently up over 300%. What's really interesting about this one is going to be its float. So we do have a float of under 1 million shares, 837,000 shares. Short float is about 9.4%, so pretty significant float and short float here for KAVL. No catalyst though, guys.
All right, Thank you. So yeah, we did kind of push up into that 132 on the initial push into it. Didn't really quite print anything there, but we did pull back and get bought up some more. So let's see on that re-break. Let's see how clean that kind of comes in. 132 potentially happening as of right now. Again, look at the market. Oh boy, that candle that wiped down. We get another wipe back up. So a little bit of a wax on, wax off. Call me my Miyagi right there at that 132, pushing up right now. Another break of the dollar. So let's see how far we can get here. 135 is potentially, Neil. Can we push 3 more points on this ticker? I don't know. Maybe. Let's break 300. No, I'm joking. But 500 by the end of the year, maybe, potentially? I don't know. A lot of people are looking at the split and being like,
say 500 by the end of the year? Please tell me what bet we can make that it's not going to get to 500 by the end of the year.
Oh, really? You're okay.
Okay, how about this? I will put up, you think of something that's really cool to put up, and you give me a dozen apple fritters, 1 a week for 12 weeks.
Okay.
And then think of something really cool that's like maybe 10 to 1 of that, because it's not getting to $500 by the end of the year. Okay?
I like, okay, so if we're gonna do apple fritters.
It's a couple of bucks.
No, I know.
That is very reasonable.
That's very reasonable. That's very reasonable.
500. I love NB. It's not getting $500.
No, I'm trying to think of like another like a pastry or like a donut that I may like. But I like the chocolate toasted coconut ones. The toasted coconut, double chocolate, something like that.
I don't know it, but I'd probably eat the heck out of it.
Yeah, so. I think that one is so 12 for 12 maybe.
No, I want to get. No, you gotta have odds. It's not getting to $500, man. Like, give yourself a chance. It's not getting to $500. Ramin wants into it as well, but
okay.
Let's just say it's not getting to $500 by the end of this year. We're halfway through the year. It's a $132 stock. It's not going 4x in a couple of months. If that happens, something is really broken in this world. But
there's been a lot of broken price action over the past, I would say, I don't even want to say.
You want
past
to change it to
years.
150, and then we can go 1 to 1.
150
but then I wanted to get
definitely possible.
I wanted to get to 150. That's a problem.
Yeah.
But before we get back into that, I just want to point the markets back at the highs. I did not just. I maybe should have taken that break. I did not take the break to get back in. I had a dip buy set. I've since canceled it. I was just telling Obi like I wasn't quite aggressive enough with the last dip buy. And like I said, I don't want to break it 132, not at this time of day. I still want to play the buy the dips. You're not going to see VWAP for some time on this stock, so it could be a 31. All of a sudden, ARM doesn't look as strong. ARM is putting in a lower high while NVIDIA is going higher. Come to the chart for a quick second there. Yeah, ARM is putting in a lower high while NVIDIA is going higher. AMD is at VWAP while NVIDIA is going higher. Not a good look for AMD. So if we fail, and back underneath 132, if the market fails this top, I don't know if AMD is in the short underneath VWAP at this particular moment. Apple's starting to really cruise through VWAP on its own, and GameStop is about to retest the 28 level. So we got it once off 28, looking to see if we can play it a second time through off the 28 level on GameStop. Everything has been get in, get out off your levels, and sort of bank the profit. And the other thing that we should be covering is Tesla holding underneath the 180. So 170, I actually thought maybe we'd get a chance and just short it at 180 on the way back, but I can't seem to get to this 180 level yet. If there's something weak that I would short at this high, it feels like it should be Tesla. And here we go. Kyle Burdett, shout out, thank you for the super chat. Obi, I got 50K against NVIDIA getting to 500 in 2024.
Okay.
I mean,
all right.
Let's try to keep it friendly, Kyle. No one's actually wanting to bet 50 grand. It's not going. It's so ridiculous that it could get to 500.
Okay, right.
It's an obviously absurd number for it to get to. Maybe Kathy Wood thinks it would get to that price. Oh, wait a minute, she's out of it. That's right. My bad.
Boom, there it goes. There, a little bit of a, what was it, almost 500 lots on the ask. We slapped that ask, and we are pushing to 132.70s as of right now on NVIDIA. Here we go. Can we get to 133s? What's the next bus stop? I have no idea, but the trend is strong. I'm trying to get better at trend trading, and this trade might have been a little lucky on this one, but that strength is very, very aggressive. distinctly different price action versus yesterday. Consolidation, push back through, 133 maybe potentially coming in, but that 75, we are getting a little aggressive with this price action, so I am looking for something distinctly different to happen there. Oh boy, there goes Adobe to the downside, 123s.
Take it?
I did not take it. I'm a little preoccupied with staring down some of this tape here on NVIDIA, so I do want to start piecing off of this one here. Maybe get some more back if we do kind of drop back into the trend there as well on NVIDIA here. Yeah, a little bit of selling right now. But again, I'm more than willing to get involved once again if that trend holds and we dip right back down. But that 132 did take some profits there, back through the half and in the 40s as well. But again, we ripped up into that 75. Definitely a little bit of squeezing action there. Block Boys definitely coming in hot with this one. But look at this trade, Neil, on Adobe. So we consolidated, we attempted to push towards some of these highs. We come right back in. Now, opening range lows still have not been broken, but if you're a range trader, this has been absolutely beautiful. Just sideways, chopping around and churning around anchored VWAP here. I'm looking at the 1 minute as of right now on Adobe, but yeah, very, very nice. We saw a held bid. Well, if you want to call it a held bid, but the level was holding in and around that 525, 524 level, and we kind of we attempted some pops there. Now we're trading below that level as of right now, 123.95. So 124s still holding. So here we go back, 132.70s on NVIDIA. Can we print 133s? I have no idea. I did piece off a little bit there. Yeah, I think so. It is quite strong on the day. Nothing too distinctly different as of right now. So were there reasons to sell? Come on, man, you got to follow your rule book. You got to follow your price action rule book there. Was there a strong reason to sell? Absolutely not, but we did kind of push up, accelerate into the 70s, and then pull back down through the half. So I kind of did piece off a little bit there, but still holding a piece for 133s if it does come in there. But again, it is coming to 10:30 as of right now, and we've had quite a strong trend to the upside. And I think that if we are poised for a bit of a breather, it may be around lunchtime, 10:30, 11 o'clock maybe. But again, price action dictating that we are still holding this trend as of right now. Again, the market also so market did take a little bit of a wick action off of those highs. So we did lick that high on the NQ, and then now we're pulling back about a 50% retracement of this prior 15-minute candle there on the NQs as well. So maybe I am willing to piece off a little bit more on this one here as NVIDIA potentially maybe pulling back all the way back down to some of its trend hold there. I do have the moving average up as an indicator to kind of dictate some of the trend here, and we have been holding that on multiple time frames there. 15-minute looking perfectly fine on the chart here. Let me pull up the chart as I speak about it here, so you can see right there. If I were to draw a line there, do some of that technical analysis. Again, you guys saw my technical analysis on GME earlier. I hope you guys like that one. But yeah, a little bit of a trend hold happening as of right now on
stuff,
NVIDIA.
by the way.
Yeah, so I had a couple of trend lines, a point of control, maybe a bit of some ears as well.
I liked it.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Before we go to crypto, I didn't want to interrupt Obi because NVIDIA is the big one today. There's no question about it. I wish I could tell you I was still in it, but I didn't get back in. Got out that 32. I tried to grab AMD through VWAP. I did get it eventually, but I remember I said AMD failing VWAP, yada, yada, yada. When it pulled back, when I tried to get it at 50s, it was already at like 20s and or all the way down into 159 even. I was able to grab it on the way back in once at the 30s. I did trail it out here when it failed in front of 158.5. I'm looking to get back in front of VWAP and join the trend. So quick scalp trade on that VWAP break of AMD that we were talking about. Like I said, lower highs, breaking VWAP when NVIDIA was going higher, the market was testing the top. To me, that signals a little bit of relative weakness. Let's go to Adara, see what's going on in the world of crypto.
One story that's been dominating crypto over the past week and seems like it has no end as of late is going to be this ongoing Bitfarms Riot platform saga, BITF and RIOT. It's been going on for a little bit, but this week it really heated up on Monday. We had Bitfarms basically applying, because they are in the TSX, to have this poison pill setup. So if anyone owns more than 15% of the company, their shares will be diluted from June 10th to September 10th. That was the plan. TSX has deferred commenting on this. And then Riot has been gradually getting more and more shares. So as of yesterday evening, they increased their stake in BITF to 14%. So just keep an eye on Bitfarms and Riot here. Kind of interesting stuff with regards to the ongoing battle between these companies, with Riot really wanting to take over Bitfarms. We also have here, in terms of just the overall Bitcoin look, bit of a lower low here on the daily chart initially with this continued 71,000 resistance. We had a low of 67,000. Now we're at around 66.5. So we're seeing lower highs here as we continue to stave off the break above that 71,000 level. On the day, we have a lot of weakness here for most of these, if not all of these crypto-related names. Ethereum here, slightly down on the day, more or less flat, trying to hold on to that 3,500 level. Solana down about 2.5%, Ripple down about 1.5%, Doge, Cardano, Shiba Inu, all of these down about 2%. So not as much weakness as we've seen recently, but not a great day again for crypto here, guys.
It's not Cavill, whatever you pronounce that company, is halted to the upside, but I just got alerted to Longeveron going again, so thank you in the chat for everyone that was screaming, David Kyle and a few others, about LGVN. I am back in. It was probably a clean break at 350. I didn't have eyeballs on it, but it broke 4. So when we dip by, I look for maybe VWAP, I look for maybe a 350. It turned at 365. So much like yesterday on a similar dip, I just take it on the way back through of 70s with my stop under that local bottom. So, 366 or whatever the heck that bottom is. I'm stopping out under there, then I'll look for VWAP, but we're back into Longeveron. Cavill is halted. Right now, the tap is flat. It's a down halt, 497, we had news in it with Adara, but the tap is flat on Cavill into a down halt. Still up 265% though. Let's go to the desk.
Bit of a move to the downside here for META. We have this story coming out here. Apparently, Meta saying that they were not going to be launching Meta AI in Europe for the time being due to there's some issues, I guess, with Ireland and a privacy regulator request. Meta itself is calling it a step backwards, quote, for European innovation and AI competition. So META and this admitted step backwards with their inability to launch Meta AI in Europe as of right now, guys.
Okay, so Meta with some news, eh? All right, we've got to keep an eye on that one.
GameStop again at that $28 level. So just for sorry to interrupt, but we just got back into GameStop exactly the same way as last time. It bounced, held that $28 level on the way back up. So there's your wick underneath. There's your hold. This is me getting in on the other end of it, which is waiting for the bounce. I grabbed some at 6s. I'm actually looking for a little bit more here underneath that 80 level. Get my price at the 28 even, and then give it to 27.80. So we're in Longeveron. While that happened, we did miss out on Tesla short. So yeah, Tesla came in. I missed that one. Let me just slap the fail on myself for not getting Tesla short. I said maybe you get a chance back into the 180. There it goes. It wicked once there, wicked twice up to 179.80. That's good enough. You would have already made yourself your dollar. If it gets there a third time, I'd probably still try to take it, but I don't think it's as good the third time through when everyone's gotten a look at that pattern. But alert to everybody that 180 level now looking like a pretty good resistance spot for Tesla.
Yeah, so that 132. So we did take an aggressive pullback there off of that move into 132.70s, right back in. Again, we saw the NQs as well taking a bit of a pullback as well. So we did pull back 132s, hold the 80s, hold the 90s, and we were kind of churning some more volume here at that 132. Look at that ask right there, 300 lots at 132 as of right now. Let's see if we can slap that and kind of push right back above. Here we go. Oh, look at that size kind of stepping up to 10s right there as well. So okay, so there's some size that's churning right there at that 132. Blocks not running as aggressive as they were before, so that is something I am noting as something distinctly different for sure. But let's see if we can hold this 132 as of right now. If not, I will piece out of that one. Thank you. Come again. I will get back to it if NVIDIA decides to hold some of this trend here, but we are starting to break that. So I am done with that one, Neil. Yeah, Not too bad to start off the day there. What's the next trade? Maybe that Meta that Dara was just pointing out there. So let's see. They do have some news apparently. So I'm gonna look at this chart and see if that has anything in store for us right now. So let's go to a higher time frame. 15-minute over the past few days. 516 highs, pulled back aggressively, consolidating. Now this consolidation, we are holding today's highs underneath that with a trend to the downside after a clip of this 505, 506 area as of right now. So let's see. People talking about Amazon in the chat as well. So I do want to take a look at that one. Okay, so yeah, that is a distinctly different break of trend. So glad I got out on NVIDIA here. So again, we were talking about this little trend here. Not the best technical analysis, but you guys get the gist right there. So temporary break of trend. Let's see if we do pull back. If the bid is real, I'll ask that question again. If the bid is real, where will it catch? We saw a lot of volume going on at 131. We saw a lot of volume going on at 129. So let's see if some of those levels continue to get defended. If the trend slows down, let's see what we can hold for a little bit of a pullback here on NVIDIA. But I am done with that initial morning trend long there on that trade. Meta coming right back into that 500. So the question is, we held that 500 in the pre-market and aggressively bid up off into the open. Can we pull back a little bit? What are the futures doing? The futures wipe right back. So we wiped up, wiped back down, wiped back up, clipped those highs. That's a little distinct. And then now we're pushing back to the range lows there with some of the market leaders kind of pulling back as well. We know that Google L was quite strong off of the open, so let's take a quick look at that. Wow, Meta really accelerating to the downside there. 502s coming in.
That's not good for them.
Oh boy, no, it's not.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
500.
A couple of things I just want to update. I'm back in AMD. You know I like that one underneath VWAP, so we reloaded AMD, pretty much the same area that we're shorting before at the 159.5. And while that was going on, we'll have to go 1 for 2 on GameStop. It does not hold the second time through. So if you're wondering where it could go next, I had the long in front of 27.80, average price 28, took the 20-cent hit in there, 22 cents actually, because it broke and we got a couple cents underneath. 27 maybe level, but that 25 half and 25 even is the next step to the downside. It's looking pretty ugly for them, unfortunately. Longeveron kind of wicked me out there. I'll get to AMD in a second. Wicked me out. I made the bottom wick and then just jumped right back in. I still only want to give it to that low and then hunt for VWAP on Longeveron. But when that curl happened, what was interesting is, so I was already getting short in AMD, and I wasn't really going to add to it. Let me just get on this bid because this was low before. No. Nobody can cross it. I hate when that happens. So one of the things I like to do is maybe cross the spread a little bit. Like when it opens up a 3 or 4 cent spread and I'm not getting filled on the bid, just bid into the middle of that spread. Take the fill at the price you want. But at the moment Obi said that NVIDIA was turning around and breaking that trend, I had the opportunity to add to AMD at a price that was 10 cents better than my original entry point. So we went ahead and did that. Now all of a sudden we're short, looking for a flush. You've got to be mentally agile. I got out of my NVIDIA longs probably too early, but we were able to find at least one name to the short side, literally the only thing that we could get short this morning, and it's starting to work out. AMD's low of $158, sort of 157.5 is yesterday's bottom as well. The way I trade, I'm out in front of that bottom. That's just how I roll. Let's go over to Sector Watch, because I'm curious what's going on in everything that isn't the chips.
Just to start off with the chips, if I may here, they are basically the only thing with any kind of upside that we have here on these markets as of right now. NVIDIA and Broadcom holding up an otherwise weak electronic technology sector, which is pretty interesting. Broadcom on a day 2 earnings move, and NVIDIA with ongoing strength. Then on the tech services side, we actually do have a couple standouts. All of the Mag 7 names in this team are basically flat in the day. We do have Adobe and Netflix to the upside. Adobe after a strong earnings report as well. So again, tech leading the way here. Basically everything else we've got right across the board. Finance, health technology, retail, trade, consumer non-durables, energy minerals, consumer durables, health services, process industries, transportation notably pretty red here. Keep an eye on FedEx, FTX reporting in the next few weeks. So FTX kicking off this new earnings season in transportation here. Also notably weak is producer manufacturing. All of these names down at least 2% from the looks of it. So pretty weak day across the board with the exception of a few standouts in tech, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, so
They're
a lot of chips with the dip as of right now, as we kind of pull back, dipping right back into some of these prior levels here.
I'm eating ketchup chips all weekend. Just so
I love ketchup chips. That's
all weekend.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm telling you right now. So, first of all, you know it's Father's Day over the weekend.
Yes.
And I feel really bad about this. Every single year, Sean and I wish each other a happy Father's Day. And I forgot Sean was off. And usually at the end of the show, we'll be like, yeah, happy Father's Day. We say it to each other. So, Sean, I know you're not watching, but happy Father's Day. He's off at a tournament in Ancaster, so I hope the team does well. The High Park Jets. I hate saying the Jets because I'm a football fan and I like the Bills. But the High Park Jets are going to be playing. We all wish Sean the best there. But I happen to already find out that my wife bought and stashed a couple of bags of ketchup chips for me this weekend.
Nice.
So I hate to say it, but I've already found them, and I'm not waiting till Sunday. Open those up.
Yeah. Father's Day starts early this weekend.
It's movie night tonight in my household, and I'm eating a bag of ketchup chips while we watch whatever the heck movie Aaron wants us to watch for the umpteenth time. Although last week we watched The Princess Bride.
Okay.
That was AMD 120 in the money, Longeveron flat, market falling.
I forget what the last I guess that's a Disney movie, right? Or,
Disney, Princess Bride's Disney.
yeah.
Love
I think the last Disney movie I watched with my family was Elemental, I think.
We've seen it twice.
Okay, that's a good one. I like that. They're coming out with a second one as well, I think. Right? Okay, yeah, a little too soon, yeah.
I think the problem with Disney is it's like, oh my goodness, people liked something we put out. Let's put another one out there right away. Like, come on, man. Like, just let it breathe for a minute. Like you're that happy that something didn't bomb that you got to make another one within a couple of years already. Like they're doing a live action Moana. I could go on a
Moana was good.
So basically, I'm going to tell you why this is going to stink.
Okay.
And I love Moana. My daughter absolutely loves Moana. I like Disney. I have all of their stuff, and I watch all their stuff, and I'm still watching The Acolyte, even though people are panning it. But one of the things, it was supposed to be a show. So basically all they're doing is they're taking the show and turning it into a movie. And if you know anything about budgets, my brother is an animator. He does computer animation for shows. You have very different budgets when it comes to shows versus movies for animation. So the quality might not be what you're expecting on it. So don't at me if Moana stinks. I'm Moana too.
There's also a Jack Harlow song called Moana, which is a banger as well. I like that one. On a side note.
31.
But yeah, NVIDIA holding that 131 halves as of right now. So let's see. Again,
I feel like I'm the only person that didn't understand that.
What?
The Jack Harlow Moana song that's a banger at.
No, I'm just mentioning that's also like kind of just a little bit of a, that wasn't like a pun or anything, but I don't know. I'm just on a side note. That's what I was reminded of. NVIDIA kind of chopping as of right now here, 131. So 131 held a little bit there. So again, pre-market highs. We were looking for that break, right? So definitely maybe some participants here. So again, another thing to note. Okay. So I do have to kind of listen to what the chart is trying to tell me. So the first aggressive pullback that we had off of that 132 hold was into this level at that 131. So the second aggressive pullback, which did break the trend, happens to be holding at that same level, right on top of 131. And we're now pushing the third quartile, the 75s, 131, 75s as of right now, on a push back up off of the same level. So again, maybe not enough information to potentially take another trade, but that scalp would have been nice if I was paying a little bit more closer attention to it off of that same level where that bid kind of stepped right back in once again into that 132. So the question becomes, is it going to hold? Are we going to go sideways right now? The morning action was quite aggressive. We can see that yesterday was a little consolidative in its price action, pretty much sideways. This is a 1-minute chart. What am I doing? Let's go to a higher time frame here. 15-minute kind of shows it a little bit better there. So strong leg, consolidation, another leg up, not as strong as prior. So here we come right back down into the 131. So I will continue watching this one. So maybe the bid is left, but a little bit of a pop suggesting that there may have been a bit of a bust stop there for participants to kind of churn the stonk, and 131 coming right back in. But yeah, that AMD, Neil, that AMD short looking quite beautiful. I did not have eyes on this one, and it's pretty much ranging on a higher time frame here. If you look at the past few days, highs in and around that 161, kind of sellers kind of showing themselves after the trend down, right? So I think this is anchored from prior earnings. There we go. So this was the prior earnings anchored. We did hold that quite well. I think this is previous earnings anchored, so we kind of sandwich in between that. And then as of right now, we are kind of churning underneath that prior earnings anchored after we broke below it. So on, what is this? This is Monday. Here, I got to pull my chart up a little bit here to see what day this was. So this was on Tuesday. So Tuesday we broke below. Sellers kind of come in, and then next day we chop. We attempt to do that yesterday as well. Sellers come in, and today we attempt that 161 again, and sellers come right back in quite aggressively with some of that market tailwind as well. So AMD, a bit of a range trade, it would seem, on a multi-day frame here, and yeah. So let's see if that bid kind of steps back in and around this 157 mark where it has been this past week. So you can see that bid kind of stepping in on Tuesday, and as well as a little bit yesterday. So let's see how far this kind of aggressive sell back down takes us to. But a V-shape recovery nonetheless. Well, recovery usually tends to refer to the long side, but again, doesn't matter. Recovered to the reference price of the open, which is the opening price here at that 158 halves, and we did wick off of that as of right now. So let's see what we do with AMD on that one. NVIDIA holding that 131, so we did push back down into that 131, and then we bid right back up into 131 half. So I'm going to give this one a little bit more time.
You back in?
As of right now? No, I'm not back in just yet. But again, I'm going to try to play the price action as best as possible on this one here. We are holding some of these levels from earlier on in the day, right? Let me go back to my 3-minute chart here so you can see that. Okay, so a little bit of indecisiveness, some dojis happening on, what is that? The dojis happening at that 131.40. So on NVIDIA, just above that prior level. So definitely some indecisiveness after a strong sell. And then you can see the bars get shorter and shorter, and then you get double dojied, and then you get a little bit of a pop back up. So maybe it doesn't want to sell off that much. I got to do better at listening to the chart and price action as well in my trading. Something I am working on. What is Apple up to?
Apple triple bottom into, like, this is forming a pretty decent wedge here. So triple bottom into lower highs, 212.60 is that current low, and it's failing underneath VWAP. This could be a potential, like, if this breaks a flat bottom, Apple, could see a move into yesterday's low. As long as it holds that pattern of lower highs down into the same bottom, you could get a flat bottom break there. Longeveron is really stalling here. I don't want this to do what Cavill did. LGVN here. Yeah, so like I said, I was about to get out. Yeah, so I'm getting out of Longeveron. I was about to tell you if it breaks underneath that 60, I'm going to dump it before VWAP. And then it probably rinse me out and just kind of go up again like it did last time. But I look at what happened over in Cavill, where it was doing the same kind of thing. But at least it bounced right away. Once it lost, halt to the downside, kind of rejecting underneath. I don't want to hold it like I was equivalent, essentially long up here instead of long off the bottom. That's the problem with that Longeveron. I didn't have a very good price relative to where this thing was bidding. So if it's going to fall under VWAP, I should be targeting that 320 level. If it can hold 320, much nicer entry. Tesla, still not ready. Tesla's not giving fills up in that top quartile in front of 180. I can use it too. So I'm still waiting for that. I want something in the 75 to 80 range. And Paul's saying Microsoft long. Why not? Let's gonna start looking for other ideas. We got 10 minutes to go, so we head to the midday. I'm really only in that AMD short. Everything else has come out, mostly profitable, with the exception of that, Longeveron not great, flat on GameStop after one win. But Microsoft trying to test another all-time high. Triple top here, and if it busts that, then we get to the big double top, which is at that all-time high. So I don't want to lose sight of Microsoft. It's making the first move. The second one probably more important. It's that 443 half that it has to get through. Always zoom out. I never want to punch long into overhead resistance. I tend to think that can be dangerous. Let's go on over to Adara. Money talks.
nice push up here for the DXY in the daily chart after seeing a bit of a base at 104 form for quite some time, then retesting that base on Wednesday after that CPI print in the FOMC meeting. Now we're pushing higher. This is our second day in a row with a nice green candle thus far in the daily chart for the US dollar. We did get some economic data today. We have this trend of lower than expected numbers coming in here. Export and import price indices both lower than expected for May, negative 0.6 versus flat for export price index and import price index negative 4% versus the flat estimate. Michigan consumer sentiment, though, is worth noting. This actually did come in lower than expected, 65.6 versus 75.2 expected. This is going to be a 7-month low for the Michigan consumer sentiment. So this number could be a little bit of a cause for concern. We also got higher than expected Michigan 1-year and 5-year inflation prints. So that's also something worth noting as well. We had Fed Mester come in earlier today saying that he believes the Fed is